Today we're going to be looking at two wireless charging options from BikeIt, the Pro 2.0 and the HighGrade waterproof phone holder. Let's talk about it. Right, so going straight into comparing the both, we'll start off with the Pro 2.0 by BikeIt. This has a plastic shell as its construction, but it does have an IP rating of IP67, which means this is fully waterproof in downpouring rain and it's dust resistant as well. Now, in order to clamp your phone into this, you actually have to press the side parts into it. It is quite noisy, but you won't notice it out on the road. And once your phone is in place here, you'll actually press the button in the center and actually close it onto your phone so it's nice and secure. Now on the back it does have a switch for those that are wondering, so it doesn't actually drain your battery. You can turn it on and off, something that we need to look out as bikers, as we don't want to be stranded at the side of the road. For the connectors on the end of it, you only get one option. It's directly into the mount itself. It has a positive and negative cable, so it wires straight up to your battery. At the bottom of this, it does have a USB port, so if you wanted to charge something else, then you can. This is okay for motorcycles that are actually petrol, also electric motor scooters as well, as long as they're not anything less than 24 volts. Otherwise, it will be a little bit damaging to this or to the motorcycle. Now, that is the 2.0 Pro. Let's talk about the HighGrade BikeIt charger. For the HighGrade BikeIt wireless charger, this comes in at around $119.99, so it's a little bit more expensive than that of the Pro 2.0. But the money goes into the construction of this wireless charger. It is built out of aluminium. It has an expansion here so that you can actually put your phone into there, and you have fully adjustability on the side here, so in order to cater for bigger size phones and accommodate from the difference between distance between the two ends of this wireless charger. On the back of it, you have an adjustment via Allen key depending on the width. Now that is a permanent fixture. It doesn't actually, it's not sprung loaded like this one. You have to adjust it and then it's fixed at that point and you have to tighten it down. This also has an on and off switch, but it's in the middle of the wireless charger instead of being on the back, so maybe it's a little bit easier to remember to turn it on and off. On the back end of this, it does have two different cabling options, so you can either plug it straight into the ports on your the terminals on your battery, or you can actually connect it up to your USB port. So that comes in at around $119.99. Before I forget, it also has a vibration dampener, so it actually help cater for the vibration in your phone so it doesn't damage it. So for those with more sensitive phones like the iPhone users, it should be fine with this little unit. So for the similarities and differences, let's start off with the similarities. They both wire up to your bike. The back ends of these do both use ball mounts, whereas on the HighGrade one, it actually has a more universal fit, so you can interchange it with other handlebar mounts that you might have, whereas on this one, it's a bit smaller. They both have an on and off switch, so you don't have to worry about it draining the battery. But the biggest differences, of course, are the price point, with this being $39.99 and this one being $119.99. Now, the other differences could be is the fact that this one is actually IP67, whereas the aluminium body of this one is only IP66, which means it's not resistant to heavy downpours, whereas on the Pro 2 it is. And the last thing that's quite obvious is the construction of both of them. This one is aluminium and this one is made out of plastic. So let's go on to fit in one of these onto the bike. So let's begin with the installation of the BikeIt Pro 2. It was actually quite quick and easy in terms of installing it onto the bike itself. The terminals on the end of them at the battery area, so you will have to take your seat off or any of the panels you need to get in order to get to your battery. But what's nice about the little connectors on the end of the ones on the Pro 2 is the fact that they have little cutouts. So when you try and actually connect them on, you don't have to take the bolt out all the way, causing a lot of pain or issues when trying to install it onto the battery itself. It literally just slots in underneath, you slide it in and screw it down, and then you just do that on either side for the positive and negative. You wire it up to your bike wherever you need to go. It has a nice little ball mount as well as spacers depending on how thick your bars are. So mine are 1-inch bars, which is 25mm, or if you have smaller bars like 7/8, that's 22mm. The only downfall that I have with this little thing at the moment in terms of the spacers is how hard the plastic is. It feels too tough. It doesn't feel soft, it doesn't feel like it's gripping on properly. But you do screw it down with the supplied Allen key and it does secure it quite nicely. All you need to do is actually tighten it at the back after you've got it in the right position that you want to do it on. Now let's look at how it actually fits when you put our phone on there. So when it comes to installing this, you have to press these open, and what should happen is the fact that it should clamp back on once it's on there, but because of the camera's lenses that I have on the back of this iPhone, it doesn't press the button to close it. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking into getting this one. You do need something like a case to either cater for that, so you actually press this down. But what I can say even is that it does charge. So if I flick this on over here on the switch in the back, downwards, you'll see a little blue light, if you can see that. We'll turn it on, and now it's charging wirelessly. Moving on to the Pro 2 by BikeIt, we can look at how it's installed as well. So with this, you can do the same sort of thing. You can either have it connected directly to the battery, or for the option I opted for, because I have USB ports on my motorcycle, it's actually used a connector that plugs into the USB slot itself. So with my little button here, I can turn it on to allow some electricity or whatever, the charge to go through the actual entire of the bike. You can turn it on and off here as well. So if you wanted to leave that on, you could. You press that, it turns it off. You press it one more time, it turns it back on again, and all you have to do is slot it into here, locks it into place, and now it's wirelessly charging. Gives you a nice little animation as well if you have an iPhone. But the ball mount on here is quite nice as well, so you have more movability in terms of the orientation that you want it at, because it has two ball joints connected by this little brace thing, and you can change it in different locations. The only thing that I don't like about it is the fact that you have to use this. You can't lose this little tool, because this is the thing that actually tightens it up with. You can't finger tight it or anything like that. You have to use this special little tool that is supplied with. And what I do like though, on the other hand, is the spacers. They actually use rubberized spacers that allow for better grip onto the handlebar itself. So out of the two, if I had the money, I would go for this one. It's definitely the better option. You have more versatility with this little unit, as well as if it was more substantial in terms of the production or the makeup of this little wireless charger. Whereas on the Pro 2, if you had a smaller budget, or you want to just get something that's completely wireless, completely waterproof, then this is also a good option as well. Don't fault it. Just keep in mind that if you do have a phone case, make sure it's flat on the back so you can actually press the button in the middle there. But overall, two different little units, depending on what you like or what your budget is. You can't really go wrong with them. They work really well, they do their job, and it is super secure on the handlebar. So I hope that was somewhat insightful in deciding which one you would choose for yourself. Give us a like if you did enjoy this video. Leave a comment down below if you have any queries or questions about the two units. I'll try and answer them the best as I can. Be sure to subscribe, ride safe, and I'll see you all soon.